Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome to this edition of the Steelers Q&A. Back with you on a Sunday night. No Steelers game this weekend because they played on Thursday Night Football, coming away victorious against the Tennessee Titans 20-16. Hard-fought game, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about more as I've got a guest with me this week, and I'm excited to do that, and it's so much easier on the Sunday night. And it's somebody that you listen to a lot, a great voice here at the Steel Curtain Network for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's my man, Tate. Tate, how you doing, man? Welcome to the Sunday night Q&A. We're back on Sunday night, and it feels good. Oh, I think you're muted, man.
Yeah, I do that all the time. They find me on the homies for doing that.
I'll bet.
But I said, man, thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here with you. It was good to get that win on Thursday night, to get all the stress out that day. I could just sit back and enjoy all the football games today and not have to stress about any of it. So the Steelers won Thursday. Great for my football fandom. And Ohio State Buckeyes won yesterday. Great for my football fandom. So today was a stress-free. There you go, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Today was a stress-free day.
It was, and it felt good. Obviously, you want some of these AFC North teams to bite the dust a little bit, but they're not doing that. And we're watching Bengals Bills live, and they go up 7-0 on the first drive of the game. The AFC North teams are playing good football right now, and I kind of wanted to talk about that here. Today, we're going to bring in obviously all of our listeners that are here. We've got Afton, Jaredevil, Joseph Donovan, lots of regulars in. Tate coming off of his podcast just a few seconds ago and was willing to join in to talk some Steelers with me, and I appreciate it. But Tate, let's get kind of your just overall feelings about the Steelers in this AFC North right now. Are they a team that can hang with some of these hot teams? Or are they going to kind of fall off the map here as the season continues to progress? What do you see out of this Pittsburgh Steelers team in a rugged, as usual, AFC North?
Yeah, we just were talking about that on my Know-It-Alls podcast, man. I don't know. If the Bengals win tonight, you got all 4 teams in the division, at least 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
At the halfway point of the season. I don't know. I can't say that it has happened before, but I can't say that it hasn't happened before. I've never seen it. I don't recall it. 4 teams. I've seen 3 teams make the playoffs in the division, but we're talking about 4 teams being 2 games over 500 minimum at the halfway point of the season. I think the Steelers can hang, Jeremy. We're winning ugly, but the fact that we're winning, you know what I mean? It's been ugly. So from my perspective, it can only get better, right? I mean, it has to trend up because it can't trend down any further. So I feel like if they just keep cleaning things up week by week, next up is Green Bay next Sunday. That should be a winnable game. I watched a lot of Green Bay versus the Rams today. They didn't look like anything special. We should be able to beat Green Bay at home and then be 6-3. Then I think we get into Cleveland and Cincinnati back to back. That'll tell a lot.
Yeah, that's the prove it stretch right there. Whether or not they belong in this division, and you're going on the road, I believe for both of those games, right? You're going on the road for both AFC North matchups, and so yeah, you got to win against Green Bay this weekend. But I agree with you. I think they can hang in this AFC North because still they kind of own the AFC North, if you will. They win these matchups, against their division rivals, and we'll see. They haven't played Cincinnati yet, but they've got one up against the Browns and one up against the Ravens already in their matchups against them. And, they just know how to beat these AFC North teams. So as far as staying in pace in the division, I think they have a shot. But whether or not they can really hang with these teams down the stretch will be the telling point. But let's jump into some of these questions here. Going back to Thursday night's game, Afton for it says, did anyone else find Thursday's win more satisfying? It felt to me like a genuine win and not a string, I'm assuming is what you meant to say, of luck. What's your take on this, Tate? You feel like you feel like this was more of a complete win from Pittsburgh, or how do you feel?
Well, the offense played good on the first drive and the last drive. The
Yeah,
defense got off the field, and Will Levis looked good for his second start, but
yeah,
they managed to get him off the field at the end of the game. Quan Alexander getting that pick. Tomlin is 25-5 against rookie quarterbacks.
yeah,
Just to throw that in. But yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I mean, yeah, I was pleased with the win, but there's still more meat on the bone. There's
yeah.
still more things to get better at, and you know, yeah. So I'm pleased. Like I said, I'm pleased. Now I can't brag or anything like that because it's not braggable win, but it's a win.
Yeah. Yeah, a win is a win in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin says we're not going to apologize for winning. Maybe that's kind of our job a little bit, is to say, this team is winning, but you add that little tag on the end and say this is something that could come back to bite them if they don't pick up the pace a little bit. But I was a little bit more pleased with the offense, specifically this last week. The running game getting going was huge for the prospects moving forward, and that's not a bad run defense that they played last week. So I'm just giving I give the Steelers props for continuing to win while figuring it out. A lot of teams can't win while figuring things out. I mean, the Houston Texans, we watched them play today. CJ Stroud, by the way, the real deal in the NFL. 5 touchdown passes today, 400 plus yards, and they're still figuring things out. And they had a good win today, but they're not winning a bunch of ball games while they're figuring things out. There's some struggles there. They're not completing a lot of these wins, and it takes a really truly special performance from their quarterback to get big wins. So I just think that the Steelers, yeah, they're slogging along a little bit, but every game they have a shot in because they know how to win ball games when it gets muddy. And so far, that's been the case. So yeah, I feel a little bit better about this one over the Titans. You like to see them string it together against Green Bay and not look ahead to those division matchups and skip on Green Bay. But we'll see. I think that's going to be a fun watch here to see how they continue to stack hopefully some wins here in a row. Um, Man, let's see. Trying to find if we got some more questions here. I think the
You got it. You
biggest
got
thing
it.
with
You got a super chat from Brad Jeffrey.
Oh, hey, check that out. Let's pull that one up. Thank you, Brad, for the little bit of a donation here. Can they win a playoff game this way? Brad asks. That is a fantastic question, and one that I've struggled with. Whether it's sustainable for this team to win ball games and then to get to the postseason and muddy it up enough to win one. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. It's they can't win a playoff game this way. Because I just think once you get to the playoffs, it's the best of the best. The stakes are higher. You've got to be on your P's and Q's a little bit more. You got to play cleaner football. And I don't know if this team can do that, especially the way they're playing right now. Maybe they grow into that. Tate, what do you think?
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you, man. But I would say it depend. It would depend on the matchup, right? I mean, I think that game was there to be won against Jacksonville last week. So I think if
Yeah.
Jacksonville's the team, they could find a way to win that game.
Yeah.
If the
Division rival, right?
yeah. I don't think they beat the Bengals or the Chiefs. You don't beat Burrow, Mahomes playing the way we playing. You
Yeah.
may don't beat Josh Allen, but they're just as sloppy as we can be sometimes too.
Yes.
But I'd say no. But one game, depending on the matchup.
Yeah, I think it's got to be like Jacksonville, like you mentioned, or an opponent from your own division, like
Right. That
maybe
yeah.
Baltimore. Maybe Baltimore gets the 2nd seed and you get the 7th seed, and you got to go to Baltimore. I like the Steelers' chances of winning that game. Just the way that they've had a good streak against the Ravens. But if you're right, if you got to travel to Cincinnati, as a 6th seed and they're the 3rd seed, and you've got to make that type of play, that's going to be rough. But there's 4 division winners. You got whoever the East brings out. That seems like it's going to be a slugfest to the end of the season. You've got whoever the AFC North brings out. That could very well be the Steelers still. But if you don't win the division, obviously you're traveling on the road. You've got a bunch of guys who've never been to the playoffs before. Bunch of second and first year guys that have big time roles on this team that it would be tough to see them walking into an opposing stadium and keeping the calm and cool well enough to win a playoff game. But it's possible. Anything's possible. And I still hold out hope that there's a chance that they can continue to improve as the season goes on, as well as to continue to work together and get better. So
right now, Bets. Right now, it's 5-3, right? Steelers 5-3.
Yep, 5-3.
What do you have their win total being right now?
That. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull up their. I'm gonna pull up their schedule real quick. I was doing that as you were speaking there.
You got another super chat up too.
Yeah, I'll pull that one up from Justin. Thank you, Justin. Yeah. So you got Packers. I think they win that one. I think they're going to sweep the Browns. I think that they've got their number, and I think Deshaun Watson is not the guy there. So you get to 7-3. I think you lose to the Bengals on the road. I'm going to say I'm going to say that they win 2 of the next 3 between the Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts. So you got 9-5. And then that back those last 3 games.
Seattle, Bengals, and Baltimore, right?
Yep. Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens, all in a row there. And you get the Bengals at home. I think you have to win that game. You got to get to 10 wins to make the playoffs in this AFC, I think. Or to think you have a lock-in spot there. So I'm going to say they win one of those last 2 and that they get to 10-7. Let's say 10-7 is their record.
That's fair.
That's my thought. Yeah.
That's fair. I can see that.
All right, let's pull up this other super chat here from Justin Gall. Justin Gall gives us $4.99. Thank you, Justin, for hopping in and giving some of your hard-earned money to us. We appreciate it. Kenny Positives didn't bail on clean pockets. I did notice that. That's a great point here from Justin. Great reads, great follow-through on play action runs, fake throws. I think he is doing some of the smaller things better. And that just shows comfortability. And maybe the offense is improving a little bit by not leaps and bounds, but, maybe step by step. I don't know how big of a deal you think it is, but I thought having Canada on the sidelines was a big deal for the Steelers this last week, and that they absolutely need to continue doing that moving forward. But what was your thoughts on Kenny Pickett in this last performance? I know started a little faster, had a slump more in the middle, and then again, fourth quarter Kenny is the real deal. But what were your thoughts overall of his performance this last week?
He played good when we need him to play good in the fourth quarter. That's what Kenny does. I think he missed some throws early. I don't know if it was because of the rib injury, and I want to give him that, but he's been missing throws all year. Yeah. He has to just clean that up because those are plays to be had. That play on the sideline the first quarter where he overthrew Deontay by about 4 feet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then on the other sideline, he missed Pickens, the same thing, overthrew him by like 4
crosser.
feet. Yeah. I mean, and Pickens had room up the sideline to run another 30, 40 yards probably. So those plays are there to be had. What I did like is everything that Justin said. And I think Kenny, what I noticed, he wasn't bailing out the back door.
Yes.
He usually is in the pocket and he does that reverse spin and rolls out. Then everything is off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he did a better job of staying in the pocket. And because the run game was working, play action was working much better.
Yes.
So I thought Kenny took a big step forward this week. I'm not going to say he outplayed Will Levis. Next week he needs to outplay Jordan Love, though. I mean,
yes,
that's an expectation.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to expect that. And you got to put the onus on the Steelers defense too to not let Jordan Love throw the ball all over the yard against you next week. And we've been seeing quarterbacks kind of just come in and put up big numbers. And maybe it doesn't always equate to scoring, but you'd like to see them hold down some opponents here to reasonable yardage totals in one facet or another over time. But yeah, when you talk about what Kenny can do, I think it's very, very promising actually that if you look at the issues, it's kind of his own issue that maybe if he could clean it up, then he could be that guy. He can be that franchise style quarterback. And some guys just don't have the it factor. I think he's got that, especially in the fourth quarter. Some guys don't have the experience that they need to really get out there and take hold of an NFL starting role. I think he's got that. I just think he's got to clean up some of the flares, and if he does that, even if he cleans up just half of those, that starts to look like a competent NFL quarterback, a top 15 type NFL quarterback.
He certainly has all the football intangibles you want from a quarterback: the moxie, the leadership, the clutch gene. He has all those things. I mean, like you said, he just needs to clean it up a little bit on the field, his execution. Yeah. I mean, but everything else, I mean, I really, really like Kenny. You know what I mean? I think he can be that guy for us.
Yeah, I honestly do as well. I wanted to mention a couple of the throws that he was getting a lot of flack for. The missed touchdown to Allen Robinson in the end zone. I mean, you understand why he threw it low and away. He's trying to give his guy a chance at the ball, but it was just too low and away. A dirt ball. That's on him. That's on him. But a lot of people were dogging him for missing Calvin Austin deep, but he literally had pressure right in his face, right in his chest. He could not step into that throw. I think he gave it all he could without being able to fully step into that one. And honestly, I thought Calvin Austin probably could have made a play on that football and caught that football. So I don't knock him too bad for missing a little bit on a ball he couldn't really even step into. I think given the chance to step into that throw, he probably makes that and lays it out there a little bit further for Calvin Austin to run under it and maybe make a big play.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I think Calvin Austin he had to kind of slow up and come back. I mean, he probably was expecting Kenny to get it out there like he did against the Raiders. And Calvin Austin is not the guy we expect to win contested catches. He's the guy we expect to blow by you and just, be open. So, but yeah,
right.
I understand that he had pressure in his face. If that's the reason why that throw wasn't made. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you got to take some of the good with the bad, and right now the good is resulting in wins, and you're 5-3, and the bad is stuff maybe you can work your way out of. Let's hope that you can do it. Let's go to a break real quick, and when we come back, we're going to answer a question from Afton about the defense, and then we'll keep answering your questions here on the Steelers Q&A. Don't go anywhere. If you're listening live, we're not going anywhere. If you're listening on audio, then we're just going to hear an ad from our sponsors real quick, and then we will be right back. So stay tuned here on the Steel Curtain Network for the Steelers Q&A. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back to the Steelers Sunday Night Q&A. It's Jeremy Betts at the Betts 93, and it's Tate at Tate Boy Fresh. How we doing tonight, Tate? I know we're talking some Steelers football. I think we're going to jump into some questions about the defense here. Afton Forred, she always has great questions. She asks, do you think Darius Rush, the cornerback that the Steelers added just a couple weeks ago from the Colts practice squad, will get more playing time? What do you think?
I think he'll get more playing time out of necessity. I mean, because that group is kind of shorthanded I thought Wallace was hurt, but he ended up playing a lot last series. But I like the young guy. I like his size and his speed. I mean, he has to learn a lot more, and he needs to make that interception before Quan did. He needs to catch that ball.
Yes, he does.
But I like him. I think he'll get some playing time. I know. Yeah, he'll.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to say I think so too, and that the depth that you're starting to see kind of round out here is starting to look pretty nice with Joey Porter Jr. as your starter. And now you'd like to have maybe a little higher quality starting uh, cornerback too, but I thought Levi Wallace, without the pressure of being the guy on one side of the field, played a lot better. And you like guys where you can take them from, okay, this is too much of a role for you, and drop them back down to a support role, and then they can provide you solid reps in support. That is what Mike Wallace, Levi Wallace is for this team. He's a support type player. He doesn't need to be your every down cornerback two on the outside. And I just thought he played a lot better in this role as kind of a fill in, as an assistant outside corner, if you will, an understudy. And I thought that went a lot more smoothly. And you saw him make some plays at the end. Did that ring true for you as well?
Yeah, no, it definitely did. I mean, when you minimize his exposure, I mean, you're gonna get more out of him, right? I mean, he's not on the field every play where he can get burnt a number of times a game because he's on the field every play. He's going to be on the field in passing situations where he's probably going to take the third best receiver, maybe the fourth best option, and not be holding number two guy, right? So I like that component of it. Hopefully Minka's back, and that makes everybody better in the secondary. Hopefully that happens.
I mean,
and I like
he looked like he was moving around.
Minka, yeah. I like to see James Pierre get a little more playing time too, because I thought he played well against Jacksonville. Had a bad PI call on him, but he's that long, rangy corner. He's come up big for us in spots before in the past when he was pressed into starting. So I like to see him get a little more time too.
Absolutely. Let's talk again about the offense here. Alex Mahoney with a great question. How much of an effect does Canada's play design have on Pickett or the Steelers quarterbacks? Tight windows, no separation. Personally, I think it plays a big role, and I think that it makes the margin for error even smaller, because you've got an offense that, despite having some good plays and some good designs, it just makes things a little bit harder. The structure of the offense, the teaching of the offense too, I think has failed Kenny Pickett and the quarterbacks to a point as well. But I just think overall the structure of this offense, the schematics of this offense, they invite defenses to cover tightly, to expect what is coming, to be able to see what's coming. And it's not very cohesive and fluid in the motions and everything like we thought it could be. We saw a little bit more with the play action when the running game was working. The running game really is what unlocks this offense, but it is hard for a drop back type situation where you got to just drop back and throw the ball. Defenses can kind of read that and sit on some of those routes. I think it does make it tougher on Pickett. It's definitely not as easy as going out there and throwing to wide open guys in a Kyle Shanahan offense. That would be the dream scenario. And then you can show the type of skills you have outside of structure, but the structure is not helping Kenny Pickett here. I don't believe. What do you think?
I don't disagree with everything that you said. I mean, the fluidity of the offense has not been there, obviously, but I think that's 50-50 on some of Canada's calls and some of Kenny's execution. I mean, I've seen their throws to be had, not ones that he missed, ones that he doesn't read, like in the middle of the field or something like that, where somebody's open, and sometimes he leaves the pocket too soon. Not so much this last game, but in other games he leaves the pocket too soon, and he doesn't give the play a chance to develop because he gets happy feet, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Canada and the fluidity of the play design and the structure of the routes on some of them, but some of the things he draws up, guys get open, and Kenny doesn't hit them. So I think they both share in the blame is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely blame to go around. I think anybody that blindly says fire Matt Canada isn't seeing the whole picture here. And obviously, I think that you could upgrade on Matt Canada. I think you could at offensive
Well,
coordinator.
I
And
agree with you. I say the same thing. I tell Shannon and Big G that on Pump the Brakes. Like, I'm not saying you can't upgrade or Canada, but it's not just Canada's fault. Yeah, you can bring in somebody
right,
young and innovative that maybe draws up better play design, but it's not all on Canada, is what I'm saying.
right, exactly. I 100% agree with you. All right, let's pull this question up. Thomas Riley asks, any news or update on Corey Trice? I haven't heard anything. I'm sure he's rehabbing. I'm sure he's working as best as he can. He's probably on track to be a significant contributor this coming off season. But man, I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard anything specific. Have you heard anything specific on Corey Trice and his injury, his progress?
I haven't, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I just assumed that he had the surgery early in the preseason when it happened, and so you got to think now that was August. Now we're in November, so we're
Yep.
like 3-4 months removed. I mean, I got to assume he's in the building getting his rehab in. I mean, he's a 7th-round rookie. He can't go home and chill and work out. He has to be in the facility. So I assume that's what's going on.
Yeah, I assume that as well. And Tomlin and the Steelers, they take every opportunity to not talk about the guys on IR. They don't like to deal with questions about that. So if anybody were to ask that to Tomlin, I'm sure he'd say basically that I don't have any updates on guys who are not part of my 53 right now, and Corey Trice is not that. So okay, here's a really good question from Afton for it. How long will it take the linebackers to develop a new green dot guy? It's going to have to be quick. Do you have anybody that you think it should be? Should it be a Landon Roberts? Should it be Quan Alexander? Should it be Mark Robinson? I mean, he hasn't been getting a lot of run. Should it be none of the linebackers? Should it go to somebody in the secondary? What do you think?
I think it'll be Quan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he's the 3-down linebacker, right? Landon Robinson is in first, second, run down, stuff the run,
Yes.
great run stuffer. But Quan is more likely to play all 3 downs. And now since Holcomb is out for the season, you're going to see those are going to be your 2 starter guys, right?
Yeah.
So I like Quan getting the green dot. Him and Minka communicating and talking together, setting everything up. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. All right, let's do this. We've got another super chat here from Justin Gall. Thank you, Justin. Another $4.99. Appreciate you for that. Broderick Jones's ability to mirror his technique on the right side was amazing. He also pulled a couple times. That went under the radar, I think, for Steelers fans. So great point here by Justin. Oh my gosh, Broderick Jones was awesome at right tackle for 90% of the game. I thought he played really well, and I know he had the kind of the took his helmet off, lack of judgment a little bit there at the end of the ball game that set up Tennessee with a short field, but I just thought his technique was great. I thought he ran block really well. It was exactly what the doctor ordered for this offensive line. So, Justin, a great point. What do you think, Tate, on the performance of the young rookie tackle?
I thought he looked really good, man. I'm sure he graded out really high. See what PFF has to say. Not that I take any credence to what they say, but I just think he will have a high grade. Now, see, I don't want him to. I mean, I want him to be good, but all with the plan being him going back to left tackle next season. You know what I mean? Because you don't trade up and spend a first round pick, 14th overall to draft a right tackle. You get your franchise guy on the left to guard your quarterback's blind side. Now I think Chooks is out of here next year.
Yeah.
His cap hit is too high. He's gone. Now maybe you can move Dan Moore over to the right side and Broderick to the left. I think that's how it will play out, and that's what I want to see. He can play the right the rest of the year and get that experience, but I want to see him ultimately go to the left just because it's so much so much draft capital invested in them that you don't put into a right tackle.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Steelers front office kind of just decide, or Mike Tomlin is what I'm trying to say, kind of just decided we need our best 5 offensive linemen on the field, and Chooks is
Right.
not one of those guys. So let's just put Broderick out there at right tackle. That's going to be better than trying to put Broderick at left and move Dan Moore to right tackle where he had struggled in the preseason and everything. So, excuse me. I think that was kind of the thought process here. Let's just get our best 5 offensive linemen on the field and let them work, and they did work. So if that running game can continue to be that explosive and efficient, Tate, I think that this offense has another level it can unlock. What do you think?
I agree with you completely, man. I mean, Broderick Jones brings a higher level of physicality and athleticism than Chooks did, which is why, as the listener noted, he was pulling, he was moving, he was really taking care of his guy. Him over there on that side with James Daniels. I mean, that was where the runs were being had at in this game Thursday. So I
Yeah.
do like it. But Jeremy, let me ask you a question real quick, man. Just because this is something nothing to do with we talking about the running game, and
Yeah.
you obviously like Ohio State.
Yes, I do.
Would you take Travion Henderson over Najee Harris right now and pair Travion and Jalen Warren?
Absolutely.
I'm with you, man. I'm
Yeah.
definitely with you.
I'm sorry, Najee, but that explosiveness from
Right.
Travion, man, we could use it. We could use it.
That
That's some Travis Etienne explosiveness. You know what
right.
I'm
That
saying?
juice. Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
That just a hypothetical. The draft is coming up. I wouldn't
Yeah.
take him in the first round, but if we had a late second
No,
round
no.
pick and he was there, I might consider it though.
Yeah, I would too. And I talked about this with Shannon on the Steelers Fix last week. He was filling in for Andrew Wilbar, and we mentioned Najee's contract, getting to the point where the Steelers are going to have to make decisions about fifth-year option and all that. And he's probably part of this organization for his 4th year. And then the Steelers probably move on. And if you do that, you want somebody waiting in the wings. I don't think you want to run into, oh, we need a running back right now, which is kind of what they ran into in 2021. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a catch in my throat. But it gives somebody a chance to kind of warm up in the offense, and then Jalen Warren, I think he's a piece you keep around, man. I think he's got that spark, and he's going to get a contract that's not going to break the bank either for a second contract, seeing as he was an undrafted rookie, and he's been a part of a committee. So I think you got a chance to really solidify your backfield for a few years if you draft somebody in the middle portion of the round that's got some explosiveness to pair with a guy like Warren, who has proven he can play all 3 downs. And you probably don't want him to have to play all 3 downs, but keep that rotation fresh and get a guy with just a little bit more explosiveness than Najee probably has. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree with you completely, man. And I'm glad Coach Tomlin has come into the new millennium and the two back committee. I mean, we've been waiting on this for years, right? For years.
Yes.
And it's finally come around. He said in his post game presser the other day that we need both of them. And I'm glad he's come to that conclusion because they both need to get the ball. Probably 10, 12 carries a game each, somewhere to get around the 25 rush attempt mark. And I think we'll be just fine as the offensive line starts to coalesce and builds a rapport.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that there's so many pieces on this team that you have to like, from George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, even the duo of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think they've got pieces that can provide a sustainable, good offensive structure. And then it's just can Kenny Pickett develop into a franchise caliber quarterback? Can he develop into a guy who's at the very least going to start a lot of ball games for teams throughout the league just because he's smart. He makes up for his lack of elite physical traits with a good awareness, pocket mobility, things like that, where he can improve some of those things, the accuracy, issues. If he can improve some of those, I think you've got a chance here to put together a team with some improvements and upgrades at some important positions, maybe even offensive coordinator this offseason. You've got a chance to put together a team in 2024 that can maybe make a run at a title. And I don't think that's this year, but I think that you've got the pieces, the building blocks to get that forward. So, Tate, let's kind of wrap up our conversation here real quick, talking about where you see the Steelers finishing out this season, and then just give us some closing remarks on some of the comments and questions that have been done today, and we will get out of here at a reasonable time on a Sunday evening.
Yeah, man. I think that the Steelers, it's reasonable to expect them to finish above 500 again. I don't want that to be 9-8. I'm hoping for 11-6. That's what I'm hoping for. They got 3 losses. If they can go 5-3, 8. They got 9 games left. If they can go 6-3 over the last 9 and finish 11-6, yep. I think that's really good. I mean, I should expect them to win at Green Bay, expect them to win at Arizona, expect them to win at the Colts, expect them to win at the Patriots. So those should be 4 wins right there. And then there'll be those tough divisional games in that game against Seattle that'll decide if they're going to win 11 games, maybe even 12, depending on what they do. But I like the 5-3 record. I would have been, if you had told me they'd be 5-3 after 8 games, I'd be happy. I would have thought one of the losses would have been against the Ravens or the Browns or not Houston Texans.
Yeah.
But 5-3. I mean, I can get down with the 49er loss. Jacksonville's one of the better teams in the AFC, so I can get down with that loss. You can't give up that game to Houston.
Yeah.
But you're 2-0 in your division. So I like the direction they're headed, and I tell all Steeler fans, just chill out, relax. It's gonna be okay, because we get real worked up every week at Canada, at Tomlin, at the players.
Yep.
Hey man, we're 5-3. We're 2-0 in the division, and we get everything is in front of us. So just be a happy fan, and we'll watch this thing unfold.
That's right, and it's going to unfold. Whether we like it or not, it's going to unfold the way it's going to unfold, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to be a part of the ride, and you can join us here at the Steel Curtain Network for all of it. We're going to be tracking everything as we always do about the black and gold as they continue on this season. I have great expectations for this team as a whole moving forward. Maybe not this season. I think the division might be out of reach. Baltimore's schedule is not that difficult, and they look really good. Cincinnati's playing really good football. But I think you've got a chance at that wild card spot. I think you got a chance to be competitive down the stretch and make a run here at a playoff spot and maybe even win a game, surprise some people. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Steelers football season is always the best. And so we'll all be sad when it's over, no matter how it ends. So just enjoy the ride, like you're saying, and appreciate the time as it's here with us now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today here live and for listening later on as well as you catch this Q&A and more of our shows from the Steel Curtain Network. Tate, I appreciate you coming on, man. We'll have to do this again sometime. And just any last thoughts before we head out?
Well, again, man, thanks for having me, man. It's always fun to interact with you and the live chat both. Be sure to get all your Steelers content from the Steel Curtain Network, whether it be the website, the written articles, or here on YouTube, the shows that you can view, or the audio podcast. I listen to them every morning pretty much, especially Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Jeff Hartman's Let's Ride. And I love when Bets is on there. All bets are off. That's on Wednesdays, right?
Sir.
Yeah.
So Fridays typically. Yep.
On Fridays. Okay. Yeah. But I check it out. And, be sure to check myself, Big G, and Shannon out on the Pump Your Brakes podcast. And the homies on Fridays with me, Big G, B Dirt, and Pay, man. So yeah, that's about
Tate
it.
He's everywhere, and we appreciate him being a big part of what we do here at the Steel Curtain Network. Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you have a great weekend and a great work week ahead. That's going to do it for us here.